What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the 12th episode now in our Leeds United career mode for FIFA 17. I start this episode off by showing you that Stuart Taylor refuses to sign a new contract at the club, meaning we will be losing him come the end of the season. So as you can see what I actually do here, because he refuses to sign that contract, I thought, you know what, I'm going to try and sell you in January, but obviously in January players, or rather clubs, will be able to try and sign him on pre-contract, so it means that we're probably not going to get any money in for Taylor, and he's actually worth quite a bit at the club currently. I'll show you here in a second. He's actually worth 2.9 million, which is a fair amount of money for a championship player, so unfortunately we're going to be losing out on about 2.9 million in the transfer kitty. I do have a replacement lined up though, so don't worry, you'll be seeing that in the next episode in the January transfer window, which is coming up pretty damn soon. But obviously, it's a bit of a disheartening news to say the least in terms of that one, because Taylor, solid left back. I've enjoyed using him so far at the Leeds United career mode, but unfortunately, he will be leaving the club come the end of the season, whether that is on the pre-contract or whether or not we get some money in for him in January. So I've listed him, going to try and sell him on. Fingers crossed teams are very stupid and don't try and sign him on that pre-contract and they want him in January, because he is transfer listed now, and I will take an offer, whatever we get for him. If they give me an offer, if at the lowest possible bit offer, I will be taking it, because I want to try and get money in for him before he leaves on a pre-contract. If he's not going to sign a new deal at the club, I want some money for him. So you will be seeing that. Hopefully we get an offer for him in the January transfer window, and if we don't, I do have a replacement lined up if he stays on till the end of the season. So you guys should enjoy it. It's going to be a lively transfer window, this January transfer window coming, because we have a number of sort of targets that I want to go for. We have a nice bit of money left as well. I purposely left some money in the kitty for myself in the January transfer window, because I knew that we may have a couple of people not wanting to sign contracts on at the club. And the only person to do that so far has been Taylor, because everyone else has re-signed that I've wanted to re-sign. And he's the only one to actually decline it, so that's very disappointing to say the least. But we will be losing him, and there's nothing we can do about that now, so that's unfortunate. But we did take on Aston Villa here for the first game of this episode, and in all honesty, I was looking forward to this one. It's back into legendary difficulty. I think I showed you it in the last episode. We actually bumped it up to legendary. I might have showed you it in this episode. I can't quite remember. But it is on legendary now. And this was going to be a very interesting test here against Aston Villa. They were actually sat in the top two. One of the sides that we're chasing up there in the top two. That was the side we named. Kamaru, Joel Green, obviously in fine form out on that right-hand side. He has been such a breath of fresh air for us on that right wing there. And actually, I'm enjoying using him. He's the first Youth Academy player that I've actually enjoyed using in FIFA for a very long time. He just has that little bit of quality that I think we need to get ourselves up and out of the Championship into that Premier League. Maybe not this season, but definitely next season. If we don't get out this season, I've mentioned it in an episode before, it will be next season. We'll be pushing hard to try and get ourselves out of the Championship and into the upper echelons of English football, which is the Premier League. That was the Aston Villa side, though. There's really no wonder as to how they're in the top two there. Definite quality all round for this Villa side. And in terms of two sides going at it, this was going to be an interesting game, because we both have a similar quality inside, and I do believe that if we play our best here, we'll be able to pull off a solid result against a very high-flying Aston Villa currently in the Championship. But the first chance would fall Villa's way here in the 42nd minute. On legendary, obviously, like I mentioned, chances don't really come thick and fast like they do on world class. And Villa there should have been 1-0 up, but the defender did just enough to put him off there. And into the 60th minute now, we will create our first chance in this game. And I thought we were going to score it here with Iwobi, but he couldn't quite stretch his legs enough to try and beat the goalkeeper to it. And it's a very solid save in the end by the Villa goalkeeper. And we get our second chance of the game in the 83rd minute. Diamond is the game now. Joel Green involved in this one. Pablo Hernandez back to Joel Green. Joel Green has the effort on goal, and you would have bet your money on him to score. Everything he seems to touch recently turns into goals, but unfortunately for us, the post denied him another goal in this career mode as we end up heading the ball goalwards. This time the bar, though, is the thing that saves Aston Villa, and unfortunately for us, we couldn't quite manage to get the goal there, and it ended up a 0-0 ball draw. But there's a lot of positives to take out of that. Joel Green hitting the post. He's been absolutely on form for us recently. He looks wonderful. He's going to be an absolute star. The last episode of Career Mode that I uploaded, I did put in the title that he will be a star, and he is going to definitely be a solid player. If he doesn't stay at Leeds, I'm expecting him to win the Ballon d'Or coming up in the next few seasons of Career Mode, because he looks to be a very solid player and looks to be one of the best players for the future coming up here. But he was unfortunately not able to get us the lead in that game, and then obviously I think it was Janssen headed the ball against the bar, so he could have easily beaten Aston Villa there, who actually sat top of the table. So in terms of positives to come out of that game, we controlled that and we had the better chances. So if we can do that against a high-flying Villa who are sat top of the table, it means we should be able to do it against anyone in this league. Or in theory, that's what should be happening, as we did take on, I believe, we have a game now, a second game of the episode, sorry, against Preston, who are an interesting side in this one. They've got Jermaine Beckford, obviously formerly of Leeds United. Jermaine Beckford scored against Manchester United in that memorable game when I think it was Johnny Howson sent the ball over and Beckford found himself one-on-one and finished it off. And it's a goal that a lot of Leeds fans remember on January 3rd in the FA Cup. I even got the date right there because I do remember it, because it used to be a thing that my cousins used to go on about all the time. If you don't know, I'm from Leeds. I have a lot of Leeds fans in the family, and they all seem to go on about that goal by Jermaine Beckford. Whenever you say the name Jermaine Beckford, that's the goal that comes up every single time without fail. So yeah, so they've got Jermaine Beckford up front. I also noticed as well they've got Aidan McGeady sat on the bench. You're going to see their side coming up here in a second, but when I was editing this gameplay back, they actually have McGeady sat on the bench here, Preston, obviously of Everton. If you remember a few years back in FIFA, he used to be a 5-star skiller from the Ireland, obviously the nation, and a lot of people, once it was the St. Patrick's Cup, were using him in their sides, and he was a very solid choice, but he seems to be, now that he's fallen off a little bit, because he's found himself playing in the Championship, and it's not quite where I expected him to be. If you'd have told me that way back, probably 2 FIFAs ago now, that he was actually a solid choice at that right wing position. They named a 5-at-the-back formation, did Preston, for this one, and I was not looking forward to playing against that, if I'm being honest with you. Beckford and I think the other striker have a lot of pace as well, so it looked like they were going to set up to try and catch me on the break. This is, you're going to see our side coming up in a second. It was our second team, I do believe, because obviously fitness-wise, and we play a number of games in the Championship each season, so I couldn't unfortunately name the side that I wanted. Joel Green had to play on the bench, unfortunately, for us today because of the fitness issue. We actually had Sacco, Wood, Dallas, Hernandez, Diarraga, Murphy, I think Coyle, Bartley, Cooper, and who was the right back? Who is the right back? Eiling. I think I'm saying that right. He's obviously Luke Eiling. He signed from Bristol Rovers this season. I didn't sign him. It was Leeds United in real life have actually signed him. And the first chance would fall Preston's way here in the 10th or 19th minute, rather. Sorry. Jermaine Beckford involved in the build-up, but the Chef Wednesday man, or Preston offence, sorry, not Chef Wednesday. Preston offend man could only fire his strike wide of the post. The second chance of the game fell our way, though, in the 23rd minute, as Sacco gets into a very nice position, crosses the ball into a great area, but some great defensive work by the Preston off-end centre-back. Almost turned it into his own net, did the other Preston off-end defender, though, but thankfully for them, he didn't, as we actually have a header on goal, which sails over the bar. I think it was Diarraga who actually had that header on goal for us there, as in the 39th minute of the game, we would create the opening goal of this one. Diarraga gets into a good position, weaker left foot. I'm not quite sure what the goalkeeper was trying to go for there, as we hit it quite early, just took one touch and striked it goalwards, and he beat the goalkeeper, but I have to say, the goalkeeper should have done a lot better with this one. If you're going to see it from a different replay right now, he actually dives way too, I don't know, it's weird. He doesn't seem to dive correctly. He seems to dive outwards rather than staying on his line and diving to the side. You're going to see it here. Diarraga is not the best striker in the world at all, but to take the lead in this one for a strike like that, I'll take it every day of the week. And I do believe it's actually an ex-Manchester United goalkeeper in the goal there. I think, is it Lindegaard? Is it Lingard who's in actually in net? Or Lindegaard? I'm not entirely sure who it is, but I do believe it's an ex-Manchester United goalkeeper who is in goal for Preston offend today. And that's a very, very weak save, to say the least here, as we managed to make it 1-0. Next chance would fall our way as well in the 45th minute of this one. Pablo Hernandez involved with Sacco. Gives it back to, I think that was Chris Wood, but a very tame shot by our number 9 in the end. Goes straight in the hands of the Preston North End goalkeeper, I do think is Lindegaard, I think, as we go into the second half now, 66 minutes into this one. Diarraga into Murphy. Murphy, nice little bit of work on the edge of the area. His strike, though, is well saved by the Preston North End goalkeeper. So making up for his initial error of not saving the Diarraga chance, he makes a good save from Murphy's effort there. Cross comes in, Diarraga wins the header, but unfortunately for us, it is cleared away. And I did manage to make a second goal in this one. You'll see it coming up here in a second. Chris Wood down the right side, cuts it back here to Murphy, who has an effort on goal. But again, this one unfortunately sails over the bar, and we couldn't quite make it 2-0 there. I'm pretty sure we make it 2-0 before the end, but I could be lying here. I'm not entirely sure. It was a long time ago that I actually played this game. Actually, saying that, it wasn't that long since I edited it, so I should know what the score ends here, but I could be wrong. 74 minutes into the game now. Sacco, lovely link-up play, I have to say, by Chris Wood. Yes, this is the second goal. Nice work down the right-hand side by Sacco and Chris Wood. Very nice return from Wood, but how about this for an effort from Sacco? Finishes it off into that bottom corner in the 75th minute of this one. Very nicely worked. Have to say as well, Sacco is he's been a bit unfortunate so far. He's lost his place to Joel Green, but no fault of his own. It's just Joel Green is playing absolutely unbelievable for us in that right midfield spot. And Sacco is definitely putting up a fight and saying, you know what, if you're going to be playing Joel Green, you have to seriously consider me for this position as well, as he fires that one low and hard into that bottom corner. The keeper stood no chance with that one. Very nice finish indeed by Sacco, and we managed to win the game by 2-0. 90th minute, the referee's going to blow his whistle in a second here. There you go. Picked up the result. That's what I like to see in this game. We are coming towards the end of this episode of Career Mode, though. If you have enjoyed, don't forget to drop the like button. As always, thank you so much for watching and showing the support in the series like you have been doing. I've been Danny, and I'm out. Peace.